Okay, I feel like where I'm sitting, it looks like I've got plants growing out of my head. But hi guys, I've got Zoe here, whether she wants to be here or not. She doesn't really want to be here. Okay, I'll put you down, go ahead. She really likes to stare outside of the window that is in our bedroom that overlooks the neighbor's yard because she's always hoping that she'll see the neighbor's dog come out. So she'll just stand there. If we left her there, she would stand there for like hours. Anyways, so hi guys. So I got on Instagram and Twitter this morning and I asked you guys what kind of questions you would like to see me answer in a Q&A. So I wanted to let you know that I'm gonna film a Q&A video in a little bit. I'm gonna go put on my makeup, do my hair, and I'm gonna film that video. So any questions you guys have about anything, I feel like I've been getting a lot of questions about the adoption. So adoption questions, house questions, plant questions, food questions. I haven't done one of these in so long, just like a casual Q&A. There were so many questions that came in. I couldn't figure out how to work my Instagram at first, like for others that I don't follow to be able to message me, but I figured it out. So now I'm just gonna dive right in and stop blabbering. So these are all in no particular order, by the way. First one, how did your first try of making sourdough bread go? Okay, so Dan and I are kind of in this process right now where like, we're not going off the grid, okay? I do love watching those videos though. I think that they're so fascinating. We want to get more and more into like, oh, even saying this is like me being a fraud. I was gonna say more and more into like being self-sufficient, but that's not even really true at all because any self-sufficient stuff is really just Dan doing it and me benefiting, meaning he's currently at Home Depot right now buying wood because he's building us a garden. So he's already built an herb garden that we're gonna plant. It's in our patio area, like our screened-in patio, but right below the house, below our deck, he's building a full-on like veggie garden. So that's pretty cool, but then also, we're trying to learn how to make bread. So as you guys know on my channel, I do a lot of cooking, but I'm not a baker. And the reason I'm not a baker is you probably know this without me telling you. I don't cook very specifically. In fact, I don't do many things in my life with very like specificity. A lot of it's just like, this'll work, it's fine. Even like with the adoption right now, I was telling my mom that as I'm like connecting with other adoptive moms, which has been so cool on a side note, I'm realizing like, I literally don't know anything. I'm just like, we're adopting. We just move forward and we're just doing it and figuring it out. Anyways, that doesn't work with sourdough bread. So Dan is the one that has been spearheading the sourdough bread process. So he has made 2 loaves so far, or 3 loaves? 2 or 3 loaves, I actually don't remember. And all of them were edible. They weren't great. Actually, the flavor was so good, but they weren't the right consistency. All of them, the first one was a little too doughy on the inside, but still we ate it. Still good. The next, it must have only been 2 loaves because I can only think of those 2. The next one was rock hard. It's difficult, but here's the deal. Dan is working on getting this down to like a science. And even though I'm a poser and it wouldn't be like me knowing how to do it when I teach you guys, once he gets this down, I will make a video and Dan and I will explain to you guys how to make it. But it definitely like takes some preciseness and he really had to like scour the internet to figure this out. So we're gonna try to make it simple if we can and then make a video for you guys. Wow, I better get quicker at these freaking questions. It's gonna be like an hour-long video. Okay, so next up, from American Hinterlands. Hi Nikki, my question is about living in Nashville. What's the biggest positive difference between your life in Nashville and your life in California? We currently live in the Bay Area and although we love it, we really feel isolated and we want to move to a place where there's a lot of artists. I'm following your Nashville move and it looks like there's a lot of creative people around you. So the biggest positive difference is, well, yes, we're surrounded by creative people. There were tons of creative people in LA, like the land of creativity, but at the same time, it's a different kind of creativity. It's a different kind of industry out there than it is out here. It really is true that the pace of life is a lot slower in Nashville than LA. And I really like that. I'm one of those people, I mean, part of it is my age, right? I'm 30, I'm about to be 31. And I'm, adopting a kid now. But my personality also, I was homeschooled and my personality really thrives, I think, on this slower pace because I end up creating my own momentum. And sometimes it got to a point in my life, at least where I was then, where the momentum of my surroundings was just overwhelming me. And I felt like I wasn't able to just make my own decisions and do my own thing. I was just like being caught up in all of this chaos. And so that's the biggest difference, is the pace of life is so different here. And us just being out here like on our own, I miss my family. He misses his family, but being on our own has been kind of cool because we're just like creating our own cadence and our own rhythm. So for the time being, this has just been awesome. And yeah, there's literally creative people everywhere. I didn't actually live in LA. I lived outside of LA where it was more suburban. So it wasn't necessarily like a ton of artists everywhere. Nashville is like just full of artists, and I love it. I love just even going to the grocery store and seeing like people wearing funky outfits. Like that's even cool to me. I'm just like, cool, I got my artistic taste for the day. Time to go back home. So yeah, my stress level way down. That's not what you asked, but yeah, that's been a big positive change too. Okay, so my earthly journey. So how did you first get into essential oils? It seems so overwhelming when you're first looking into it. So did you go buy, when you first looking into it, so did you go one by one or just buy a welcome kit or go strictly on recommendations or what? So, okay, I've been into essential oils for like 5-6 years, but I was buying them one at a time, like from the grocery store or a couple individual oils from someone who worked at my chiropractor's office that sold doTERRA, but I never bought like a big kit. I only bought the big kit because when my sister started selling Young Living and she came to me and was like, hey, would you consider buying your oils through me? The way that she laid it out was she was like, it's actually a membership program. She's like, you will get everything 24% discounted if you just buy a welcome kit or starter kit. And then you get all these oils. You get 11 oils and a diffuser and all this other stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I want to dip my toes in other oils. And that's where the obsession started, because I got so many oils that I wouldn't have picked up at the grocery store. Normally, I was only doing things like tea tree, lavender, lemon. I had never tried frankincense or like any kind of digestive blend. But because of that, I fell down the wormhole of researching like, okay, what do essential oils actually do to your body? And I became obsessed from there. And now I have a whole rack in my bathroom. I'm about to put a rack downstairs in the kitchen for all of the oils that I keep in the kitchen. I'm obsessed. And if any of you ever want more info, by the way, I was actually with my friend Lynette when I was in Detroit getting my brows microbladed. And she had said to me, she was like, I didn't even know you were like a distributor. So to everyone who doesn't know that, sorry, my hair's falling out of my pigtail. I actually am a distributor now of Young Living. So if you have any questions or you're just interested or you want to buy anything, feel free to DM me on my oils Instagram account. I have a whole account like dedicated to it. It's just at For Your Life's Essentials, and I can hook you up, give you more info, all that jazz. So yeah. Okay, next question. How do you manage your everyday anxiety? What is the number one daily thing that helps you get through the day without a freak out? That's a hard one to answer, because I honestly, and I know this is annoying because it's not what you asked, but I don't feel like it's one thing. It's a variety of things. I feel like, I mean, to those of you that don't know, I am on medication now, although really I've been on the medication for a few months because of my physical pain, but I'm like, that has to also play into anxiety. So I am on a low-grade antidepressant, and day to day, I really think that my lifestyle change has affected so much of like what my life looks like now. I try to not put a lot of pressure on myself. It seems very backwards, but I feel like currently, as I've been putting less pressure on myself, I deliver more, because there's not all this like, you got to do this, you got to do that. I'm more just like, all right, God, you tell me what you want the day to look like. Like, I'm not lazy. I'm willing to do stuff, but I also know you want me to rest. I also know you want me to be at my best. So I'm going to kind of go with the flow. I still make to-do lists. I don't jam pack them the way that I used to. I used to be one of those people that it was like, you have to be aware of your time. So I would schedule out like every 15-minute chunk. Like, then from this time at the gym, then for the 15 minutes I'm in the shower, then for 15 minutes I'm doing, God time, then for 15 minutes I'm going to be doing, this on Twitter, then for 15, like, I don't do that anymore. And I just am not in a place where I can do that anymore. And I think that that's helped my anxiety a lot. So giving my days to God, and like I said, I can't rule out the medication. But I really I try to stay, calm, focused, centered on the Lord, oftentimes throughout the day. This is gonna sound weird if you're not a Christian, but I'm just being honest. I will just like say Jesus's name. Like I'll just say Jesus and I'll just picture him. And that is calming too, because he is the person that I'm trying to become more and more like. And there's so many attributes he has or had or has, or whatever, that I want to have as well. So by saying his name, I think there's just like power in his name, but also it's like Jesus wasn't running. Like I don't think Jesus was like rushing through life. Jesus was a carpenter for the first 30 years. There's beauty in doing simple things. Like it's just a good, just that's kind of where my head's at. We have paper blinds now. I commented about paper blinds. How have you dealt with being a homeowner? We bought our first house last year and it's way more overwhelming than I thought. Any tips / words of advice or encouragement? Okay, 2 things. First off, Dan handles like everything. So I'm a little spoiled in that aspect or that regard, because he really is super freaking handy. We always say, we're like, dang, if we ever like need extra money, you could just like side job, become a handyman. Like he can do everything. So it's kind of crazy. But as far as like encouragement goes, just love what you have and be patient. Homes take time. Everybody knows that, but I think we all get impatient. That like setting up a home just takes time. So just love your home where you're at right now and then just like enjoy the flow forward. Bowsy, no, Bowser, no. Next question. Are you planning on raising your kid or kids in Nashville? How do you think the pups will react to having human brothers or sisters? So as of right now, yes, the plan is to raise them in Nashville. We have no plan to leave anytime soon. I mean, our life, who knows where our life's gonna go. I really just feel like we're just gonna try to go and do whatever we feel like God wants us to do or where he's calling us. You know, we're just gonna kind of take it as it comes. But we love Nashville and we love the vibe here and we're really excited to bring a kid here. So, and the pups, I mean, hopefully they'll be fine. I think they're gonna like it. I think they're gonna like having a little person to cuddle with. That's something that people don't know, you guys don't know about the dogs, is they're huge cuddlers. They love to cuddle. So, yeah. Are you gonna do a gender reveal? I don't even really know what that means for us. Like, I mean, like on YouTube? Because we could do that. Yeah, we could do a gender reveal. I feel like that's just like an overall kid reveal though, because it's not like the kid's already born. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's cute. Okay, so Samantha said, so many questions, but I'm really wondering how you can find the time for your PT and how is your pain doing? So, how I can find the time. I've been really bad about PT since we moved. Like, I haven't stopped. I keep doing it, but like I went through a phase before I started with my current physical therapist for about 1.5 years where I was so dedicated with PT. It was actually, if you go back and watch my videos, it's like I pretty much was so dedicated and then I like snapped. And it was right when I had this feeling like we're supposed to move, something's got to change. The whole 1.5 years leading up to that was me being like, doing my physical therapy like 6 times a day, like not being involved in social things because it was like, I have to stay home and do my PT. Like if I want to get better, then I need to be disciplined. I can't just complain. Like I have to do what it takes. And after that 1.5 years, I snapped because I realized, oh my gosh, like I have done what it takes and I'm not any better. So choking. So not that this is an excuse, but it's an excuse. I think because I've been dealing with this since I was 13 and even that 1.5 years of PT, that was like my 5th round of PT. Like this has been like such a long part of my life. I hit this point in the last like 7-8 months where I just like was over it. So even though I have been doing my PT, I am just not as disciplined as I was before. Sometimes I'll go a couple days without doing it and I'll end up only doing it a few times that week. It's kind of bad. So I'm trying to switch that because I realize like, Nikki, you can't swing from these extremes of like being like super on it and then like hardly doing it at all. I guess just in my brain, I think there's a part of my brain that started feeling like it was pointless. Like, why am I even doing this? Like I gave it my all and nothing happened. And I don't think that that's a thought that I really should fully subscribe to because I think that PT really helps with like things progressing not as fast, you know what I mean? Or like the deterioration of injuries and problems not progressing as fast. So I've been trying to get better at it. But it's been difficult. As far as my pain is so much better than it was when I was in California. I really think that the adrenaline and the lifestyle change and everything has helped a lot. But you know, it's still the same issues. I threw my back out over the weekend, but it was only a couple days, so that's good. But yeah, I don't know. I was telling my friend Lynette the story of all of my injuries because she was like, I don't really understand like what is wrong. And I told her, and she was like, have you even put that up chronologically on the internet? I thought I had. I'm going to try to find the video that I think I told the whole story in, and I'll link it down below. Or if I go look at that and that's not it, if that's something you guys want to see, if you want to hear the story of like just what has happened with my body, because that is also part of why we're adopting. A small part because our heart is really just like for adopting. And I never used to dream of getting pregnant, but it is a part of it because the thought of getting pregnant sounds like a nightmare. So let me know. What's your favorite essential oil blend to diffuse that helps with your anxiety? Also, do you wear any essential oils that help with anxiety? Okay, so thanks, Hannah. I switch out my oils depending on my mood. Like that's the thing. When I feel anxious and I want an oil, like I will go and pick the oil that I feel like I want. Like I want citrus right now and I'll diffuse some citrus, or I really want Valor. I'll listen to my body. I view essential oils kind of like almost like vitamins. They're just from the earth, nutrients that can support your body. And I get all hippy dippy and I'm like, whatever I feel drawn to is what I need right now. So that's kind of how I do that. But I like Valor, I like lavender. There's a blend from Young Living called Stress Away I like citrus oils depending on, I don't know, I like a lot of citrus oils. Tangerine, lemon, lime, orange. So good. I like woodsy scents. Sometimes they're more grounding, which I never understood before I got into oils. When people would be like, these are grounding oils, I'd be like, what the heck does that mean? But now that I'm experiencing it, I understand it. It's hard to explain until you use like a woodsy grounding oil. But like a Northern Lights black spruce, or an Idaho blue spruce, or pine, or something like that can be really like grounding and calming. So yeah. Any advice on how to start living a healthier lifestyle? Do it. Honestly, one step at a time. If I had to really give clear advice though, I would just say highly increase your vegetables and fruit. Do that. If you increase your vegetables and fruit, I think you will like it so much, it will move you in a positive direction. So look at that, concise answer. Wow. All right, hi Nikki, this is a faith-based question. I'm wondering how you overcome the anxiety to follow the callings that you hear from the Lord confidently. Your move to Nashville and adoption journey are so inspiring, but when I think about taking big steps or starting down paths that I feel called to, I'm paralyzed with fear. I'm strengthening my relationship with the Lord and trying to trust in Him, but our earthly insecurities still make it hard. So I felt fear every time we've made a big decision as well. I think the thing is, first off, it's not like God's speaking to me all the time, like in big ways, like do this, do that. And there are all these huge like things all the time and I'm just like causing chaos. So when it does happen, I'm kind of like, oh. That being said, I tend to do a lot of like thinking around it. It's not just, I heard from God, I'm going. So I'll do logical things to kind of support that or find out more information. So when I heard you're going to Nashville, it wasn't, you're moving to Nashville, but I was like, oh, so I started investigating, I started figuring it out, especially after my friend from Nashville called me like less than 24 hours later. That was weird. But then I investigated for a little while and I visited and, I dipped my toes in, adoption, even though the timing, like it was like God flipped a switch. It's time now. We had been thinking about it for years. So, or me getting married, like I had been dating him for a little while. It wasn't like I just met him and heard like, he's my gift to you. And I'm like, to a stranger, So they're not immediate overnight things. And I think also sometimes you have to weigh out like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Do I trust God? Do I trust that He has my back? And then on top of that, like how bad could this go? You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of things are fixable and solvable and, you YOLO, you only have one life, and sometimes you just gotta do things, I get a little panicky sometimes when I think about the adoption. It's like I'll have these moments where I'm like, am I making a bad decision? And then I'll be like, what are you talking about? Like, even if you're terrified in your earthly body at moments, or you're like, what if I regret this? Which will never happen. But when you have those human thoughts, I think, dude, you are gonna give a home and love and clothes and food and hugs to a kid who doesn't have one. Like, what are you possibly gonna regret about that? You know what I mean? And it was the same thing, Nashville. It was like, so if I don't like it, I figure it out and move back when I can. Like, nothing in this is like life or death. So I think you just, you know, think about it, research, pray, weigh out what the worst thing that could happen would be. And yeah. Okay, do you use natural deodorant? If so, which one? Yes, I use from La Vanilla, their grapefruit deodorant. It's not even very good though, honestly. I feel like I'm smelly all the time. I just feel like that's the life of wearing natural deodorant. Like, you just become a smelly person and it sucks. No, you just end up having to apply like deodorant multiple times throughout the day. Although I am planning on ordering 2 different kinds off Amazon to try when I run out, because so many people have said so many good things about Schmidt's deodorant and Native. So I'm gonna try those out and I'll let you know if I end up liking those better. Because right now this one from La Vanilla, I'm just like, not impressed. Okay, this is good. How do you stay positive regarding body image? So, I don't think about it very much. So it's hard. I think every girl has a hard time with that. But it just, oh, sorry, text distract me. I try not to think about it very much. I used to be so obsessed, and now this might sound kind of dark, but I'll just think, you know what? Like, I could die tomorrow. Like, why is this the top of my priority list to just like, I don't know, have this banging bod, which wanting a banging bod is not a bad thing. But when you cross this line into like obsession and then unhealthy eating habits, it's not good. So what I try to focus on is enjoying my life, enjoying the fact that I can move in my body. I'm not like, you know, bedridden, and putting healthy food in my body. I really think that healthy food, and I'm not talking about counting your calories or whatever, because just because you're counting calories doesn't mean it's healthy, but putting living good food into your body, I think kind of helps to regulate your body image, because there's something about that that's so life-giving. I think it's just better to put your focus there on the amazing, healthy, good food you're eating. So that's how I try to do that. Also, all of the pants that I own, this isn't true, not all of them, but a lot of them, I have 2 sizes. One for when I'm a little heavier, one for when I'm a little skinnier, because I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is, and that's where I'm at right now. Okay, this is gonna be my last question. This says, were you able to find a church in Nashville, and what was that process like? What were you looking for in a church, and was it easy to plug into a Christian community when you moved? Okay, so I'm just gonna be really honest. So we visited a handful of churches when we moved here. It's hard because there are literally churches on every corner. Like, they're everywhere. It's so different from LA. But I personally got to the point where I was like, okay, like, I'm done looking. We went with our neighbors one Sunday, and I really like our neighbors, like, a lot. And I liked the people that we met at the church. Totally different from any church experience I've ever had back in California for so many reasons. It's like a little white church, which I've never even experienced. I'm like, what is this? It's like out of a movie. So that's kind of crazy. It's a different church experience. And, you know, we're still kind of in like the dating process of the church, you know, like we aren't sure where we're going to settle into. But we're really liking the place we're at now. We've both plugged into Bible studies, and we just kind of got to a point, I mean, that's the truth, where I was just like, I'm done looking. Like, if you want to keep looking, Dan, go for it. I'll follow you wherever you want to go. But I'm kind of done hopping, and I'd like to stay somewhere for a minute and just kind of like get some familiar faces in my life on Sundays. So, super unscientific. That's just how we did it. And, you know, people on Twitter were also asking what denomination we are. I'd say Dan and I consider ourselves non-denominational. We're currently attending a Baptist church, but it's like, I don't even, first off, I literally asked in my Bible study the other night, I'm like, does this even qualify as a Baptist church? I don't even get it. And they were like, well, we're kind of not Baptist-y for a Baptist church. I was like, that's kind of what I figured, because it feels non-denominational. But prior to that, we were at a Foursquare church, or no, we were at a non-denominational church prior to that. And then early in our dating years, we were at a Foursquare church. So, but we just consider ourselves non-denominational. We plug in wherever we feel like, you know, the church and the community fits our life and what we're going through, and where we're at right now fits us well. So, yeah, guys, that's it. Let me know if you want to see more Q&As, or if you have, yeah, I guess give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and leave questions down below if you want me to do another one. I could just do like a YouTube question Q&A versus Instagram and Twitter. And I know that a lot of you have adoption questions too. So if you want me to do just an adoption Q&A video, I can answer whatever questions you have, because I almost don't even know what to talk about without your questions, because in some ways I feel so ill-informed. Like, what am I gonna tell you? I don't know, I'm just figuring it out as I go. But on the other hand, I know that if you've done nothing with adoption or you're just looking into it, I know a lot more than someone who like hasn't done anything with it or looked into it at all. So that's it, guys. I will see you back here soon. And yeah, I hate saying bye. Once I get on a roll and like, do I have to? I have to go now. Stop talking. Okay, bye.